Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. Today it is going to be a very interesting topic, and the reason it's so interesting is because Igor Mazarenko, of course the man behind the Armfight series, in particular Armfight 50, has released an image on his cover photo that has sent the arm wrestling world into a bit of hysteria. Of course, if you haven't seen the cover photo, here it is here. This is the cover photo that I'm talking about, where we can see, of course, we have a lineup of people here. Rustam, Babayev, from left to right, Rustam, Babayev, Tim Bresnan, Dmitry, Truven, Denis Cyplenkov, Devon Larrat, Andrey, Pushkar, Levan, Sangishvili, and of course, Dave Chaffee. Now, this is a killer lineup without a doubt. The world has gone crazy straight away. We've been waiting to hear a confirmation that we're going to have Devon Larrat v Denis Cyplenkov for some time. There's been talk of it over the last since WAL last year is when Devon called out Denis. But anyway, it hasn't happened since then, and there's a lot of skepticism as to whether this match is actually going to happen and what the other orders of the matches are going to be as well. So I wanted to give you some insight today as to what I know about Armfight 50. Is it going to happen? Is it confirmed? 16th to 18th of November on 2018, as the cover photo does suggest. Like I said, I do believe it is a very clever piece of marketing from Igor Mazarenko. Whether or not this is happening or not, whether it's confirmed, it has the entire world talking about Armfight 50, and it has the Armfight brand well and truly front and center. So well done on the marketing, Igor, either way. Now, I can confirm for you a couple of things. I've spoken to a number of sources that are close to this matter, a number of sources that are potentially on the cards themselves, and here's what I found out. Okay, the event is not yet confirmed. I can say that my sources tell me that the event is not yet confirmed. They also tell me that it will 100% happen, but it is not yet confirmed and locked in. They also tell me that a number of the pullers have been offered positions on the cards, but the pullers themselves haven't yet been told who their opponent is going to be. Now, we can read between the lines when we look at the people on this list, and we can form our own opinions as to what the likely matches are going to be. For me, I see Rustam Babayev against Tim Bresnan. I see Dmitry Trubin against Levan Sangishvili, leaving Dave Chaffee against Andrey Pushkar, and of course Devon Larrat against Denis Cyplenkov. That would be the obvious match. That's the matches that everyone's wanted to see. And look, I do think it's going to happen. I do think that this is just kind of helping solidify the fact that the world wants this to happen. Now, there's probably a few people that will pull at that event as well that aren't included on the card in the marketing as yet. People like Vic Vinia, people like Michael Todd. All these people could make an appearance in that event as well. But let's just imagine for a moment that it is locked in. Let's imagine for a moment that it's all 100% go. It is going to be a fantastic event. Obviously headlined by Devon Larrat versus Denis Cyplenkov, a very, very much talked about match. And of course the other big one, it's hard to believe that this one wouldn't be a main event. But of course, Dave Chaffee against Andrey Pushkar is a huge match as well. Andrey Pushkar, the well and truly respected number one in the world, and Dave Chaffee challenging for that position. So, I want to talk about, before I wrap this one up, I want to talk about what I think will happen should this card go ahead, and give my predictions on these matches, because they're all fascinating matches as they are. So I'm going to start with Rustam Babayev against Tim Bresnan. Now, I think this match will go ahead. I did see some more marketing from Igor Mazarenko talking about Tim Bresnan, that he was going to be taking on someone lighter than him, which obviously suggests Rustam Babayev, who's in very good form, having defeated, of course, Todd Hutchings 6-0 in very devastating form, stepping up to the heavier category now against Tim Bresnan, the super heavyweight. Now, for me, Tim Bresnan has a very strong outside game. He's got a lot of pronation, and he very much is a master of just denying people the ability to set a hook. Now, having said that, that's a very contrasting style with Rustam Babayev, the incredibly explosive hooker. Well, how do I see this going? I think Rustam Babayev is faster than Tim Bresnan every day of the week. Does Tim Bresnan's style have enough to get a stop on Rustam Babayev from setting a hook? I say yes. First round, I say the hook doesn't get entirely set, but I do believe Rustam Babayev will have sufficient tightness in his position and subsequently Tim Bresnan will be open enough that Rustam Babayev will get the victory, regardless of not being a set hook. I think that Rustam Babayev, for the first 2 to 3 rounds, will have a degree of difficulty in getting the match finished, but I do think he will get probably the first round through speed. I actually think Tim Bresnan will pick up the second round through having felt the angle of Rustam Babayev, so it'll be 1-1. And then I think we're going to start to see one of two things happen. We're going to either see the shoulder, the outside of the shoulder of Tim Bresnan combined with the pronation starting to run out, and Rustam Babayev is taking control and going on for a 5-1 victory, or we're going to see Rustam Babayev's hand collapse. And if the hand collapses, he's going to be defending with no wrist, and it will be Tim Bresnan's day. Which way it goes, it's difficult. I think it's going to be a 5-1. 5-1 one way or the other. And it's hard for me to say it, but I'm going to go with the smaller man. I'm going to go with Rustam Babayev on a 5-1 victory over Tim Bresnan. All right, the next round that I'm going to talk about would be the Dmitry Truven versus Levan Sangishvili. Dmitry Truven, a mainstay of the Armfight series. He's been at the top of the game for quite a number of years. He has beaten Michael Todd. He's taken on all sorts of legends, but he did just lose to Dave Chaffee 6-0, so he looked like he wasn't in the greatest of form. That on the other contrast, Levan Sangishvili, he's dominated. He's dominated the WAF scene. He's dominated the Zloty Tour main draw, and he is looking like he is in great form. My money is on Levan in this one. I think Levan is bringing too much momentum to the game. He'll bring a lot of confidence as well as a lot of in-form strength. And Dmitry Truven second-guessing himself, I can see him struggling to keep up with that amount of pressure in the mental side of things, and the match going, for me, 6-0 to Levan Sangishvili. And, okay, the next event, which normally would be a main event, but only being overshadowed by Denis and Devon. So I'm, of course, talking about Dave Chaffee against the Ukrainian monster, Andrey Pushkar. Now, Andrey Pushkar, as I said, has been respected as the world number 1 for quite a while now, both left and right arm. So this would be a right arm super match against Dave Chaffee. Dave Chaffee, of course, just dominated Dmitry Truven at the last arm fight. So it's definitely the match that needs to happen to see if Dave Chaffee can knock off Andrey Pushkar for that number 1 title. And look, to be honest, having spoken to Dave Chaffee in the past when we did a podcast with him, I believe that Dave Chaffee has more endurance than Andrey Pushkar. Andrey Pushkar has more power off the go, without a doubt. More side pressure and explosivity. I think that if Dave Chaffee gets his wrist bent, particularly in the straps, that we're going to see him be able to catch and reverse. Now, round 1, I'm going to call it for Andrey Pushkar. I think Dave Chaffee won't know the angle that Andrey Pushkar is going to hit, not entirely. He won't be ready to catch. And outside of straps, I see a victory to Andrey Pushkar in round 1. Round 2, I see Dave Chaffee saying, okay, that's your angle. Slipping, going to straps. In the straps, Andrey Pushkar still enough energy to get another victory, 2-0 Andrey Pushkar in the straps, but only just. You can see him starting to get to the limit of his hit in the second round. And then the third round, I'm seeing straps again. Dave Chaffee getting a sufficient hand closed and cupped, and subsequently catching about 2 inches off the pin and reversing it from there, pulling back through into a hook. And then from there, it'll be Dave Chaffee. So for me, 4-2 Dave Chaffee over Pushkar on the right hand. And then the final match, the one that the world has been talking about and wanting to see, between two legends of the sport. Of course, Denis Cyplenkov from Russia, one of the most recognized arm wrestlers on the planet, a bicep world record holder for the strict curl. He's someone that has been around. He's more technical than people give him credit for. He has endurance. He has beaten Michael Todd. To speak of his endurance, beating Michael Todd 4-2 in a Armfight series a few years ago. He is obviously a powerhouse when it comes to raw strength. Does he have more raw strength than Devon Larrat? Yes. Does he have more speed than Devon Larrat? They're not. Both of them aren't particularly fast arm wrestlers, but I would say no. I'd say Devon Larrat has the edge in speed and in endurance. In terms of just a raw endurance, in terms of how long can you hold an ugly position, I would say Denis has more endurance. But where Devon Larrat comes into the game and where I see Devon Larrat starting to have an edge over Denis Cyplenkov is not in the raw, ugly style endurance, but in the mastery side of the sport. For me, Devon Larrat is the best arm wrestler on the planet in terms of technical aspects. He is not the strongest arm wrestler, but he knows how to exhaust an opponent. He knows how to find angles that will lead his opponent, and in this case, lead Denis down a path that Denis doesn't want to go down. So for me, I see the rounds going like this. I think Devon Larrat will put Denis Cyplenkov into a hook. And naturally, when people hear that, they think Denis is going to destroy Devon in a hook. But he's not going to simply put him in a hook. He's going to put him in a Devon hook. Okay, it's going to be the Python-style hook that we see of Devon. It's going to bleed the bicep, bleed the pronation, bleed the rotation of Denis Cyplenkov, not allowing Denis Cyplenkov to get access to everything that he wants. So, for me, Devon Larrat, I actually think we'll win this 5-1. I think Devon will go to set a hook in the first round, and he won't quite get the stop. Denis Cyplenkov will drive straight through the attempted stop of Devon Larrat in round 1. But from there, it will be one-way traffic. The second round, Devon will get the stop. Devon will just get the stop. Devon will attack the rotation. Devon will bleed the bicep and the pronation of Denis Cyplenkov. And we'll see Denis Cyplenkov return to a king's move, looking for something. And then eventually being pinned after one of the longest rounds we've ever seen in arm wrestling in that round 2. From there, Devon Larrat will take control on a technical aspect. And he will keep Denis Cyplenkov on his lactic acid. No matter where Denis Cyplenkov looks to go, Devon will keep the lactic acid building up where Denis doesn't want it to be, and it is that reason why Devon Larrat will win. And Devon Larrat, when I say Devon Larrat has endurance, it's funny, I actually don't think Devon Larrat has that much endurance. He is just that good at putting you where you don't want to be, that it appears as though Devon Larrat has a hell of a lot of endurance. Look, I'm sure he's got plenty of endurance in an actual physical sense, but I don't think a lot of people see Devon Larrat for who Devon Larrat really is. He is the best arm wrestler. He's a master of technique, and that is why it appears that he is so good in the endurance category. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is my summary of Armfight 50. I hope it does happen. 16th to 18th of November is what it is listed as. It would be an amazing event. We would all be watching, I have no doubt. So hopefully Mazurenko comes through. It'll be a very big disappointment if he doesn't. But like we said, recapping, it isn't yet confirmed. But the people that I'm talking to are confident that it will 100% go ahead. And also the opponents aren't yet actually locked in. Mazurenko has offered people positions on the card, but hasn't actually confirmed who they're going to be pulling. But as we said, we can read between the lines and see who the matches are going to be between. And if that is the case, I think it will be an outstanding card to watch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you again next time.